With the next console generation just around the corner, we expect to have a lot of news and leaks starting to drop. And that's exactly what's happened. A Reddit user posted that he's heard a lot of information on the next generation consoles and decided to leak some of the specific specs for PS5 and the Xbox too. While we all know Microsoft and Sony are deep in the development cycle of the next generation consoles, we still haven't had a lot of concrete information on either one. But with this new spec leak, it might have shed some light on exactly what both companies are working on. But first I want to say we should take this leak with a grain of salt, because it's nothing official and things are always subject to change. But this leak does coincide with a couple other hints we've seen floating around, so it's always great to talk about it and inform you guys on what might be in the next generation consoles. And this leak happened a few days ago, maybe about 3 to 4, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to report on it because, hey, I felt like this is a tech thing, the guy's leaking it on Reddit, maybe I should hold off. But now a bunch of sites like Tech Radar and a bunch of other ones, and people on Reset Era that have great backgrounds in leaking things, have said that the Reddit post has a lot of truth to it, and maybe we should keep an eye out on what this Reddit user is posting because, hey, it might be real. Especially since the Reddit poster took the post down fairly quickly, but not quick enough for people to take screenshots and kind of show us exactly what Xbox and Sony has in store. So let's get into this leak because there's a lot of information to unpack. First up is the Lockhart, which the leaker calls the streaming Xbox, which as we know isn't what it's called. Lockhart is what the lower tier Xbox 2 will be. Inside this leak, it says it will have a CPU that is a custom 8 cores, 16 threads Zen 2, which, like a lot of us have said for a long time, the biggest drawback to the X in every current generation console is the bottleneck that the CPU has. So upgrading this across all consoles was a must, which it looks like they're doing that. This Xbox will also have a custom Navi GPU at 4+ teraflops with 12GB GDDR6 memory. The GPU might not be this huge jump forward compared to the X, but it's going to have a lot of differences that set it apart. Speaking of setting it apart, it will apparently have 1TB SSD storage and allow DirectX ray tracing. And the price tag for the box would come to $249, which is a great starting price for a new console with similar power to the X. Now I know what you're thinking, this isn't even as powerful as the X, why would I get this? Well, with the CPU upgrade and everything else and putting the technology together and integrating it well with the hardware, this will set it apart from the X beyond its standards. It'll outperform the X in many ways, and games will run at maybe 60 frames at a better resolution than what the X can handle. So that is why you would upgrade to this. But now let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and what this leak says it will have inside. First up is the CPU, which will have, again, 8 cores, 16 threads, Zen 2. Again, this is a drastic jump in CPU power compared to the current generation consoles. The GPU is a custom Navi at 8+ teraflops of power with 12GB of GDDR6 memory and 1TB of SSD storage, all the while hitting the price point of $399. If the leak has any resemblance of truth to it, then this will be a massive jump in console quality and power for the base PS4 and also the PS4 Pro. Sony understands that they want to hit that same price point they launched with the PS4, and it looks like they're not going to be moving away from that. So it's a smart bet to kind of bet on your console, especially since you've had one of your most successful console generations ever with the PS4. Why fix what isn't broke? So it's very smart for Sony to do that. But let's talk about the main course of this leaked meal, which is the next Xbox X, codenamed the Anaconda, the pinnacle of console power. It's reported to have a custom 8-core, 16-thread Zen 2 CPU, and it's going to be accompanied with a powerhouse GPU of a custom Navi at 12+ teraflops of power and 16GB of GDDR6 memory, along with 1TB NVMe SSD. All of this with DirectX ray tracing. Talk about setting the standard in the console industry. But again, this is all leaks and rumors, so don't expect this to be the exact specs. Yet if the specs are even close to this, it will be such a huge leap in power and performance. And the leak also says that this will be set at $499, which will coincide with the current price of the Xbox One X. This console is going to be aimed at the hardcore gamers that want the best possible performance from their games. It will be the best option outside of a powerhouse PC for hardcore gamers to get their benchmarked graphics. Now that we have all these specs down, let's talk about when these consoles will most likely end up in our game-hungry hands. The leak says that both Xbox consoles will launch in holiday 2020 and that the XDK will start rolling out in April or May of 2019 for developers to learn the new system and develop for it. This is around when GDC will happen in 2019. So expect right after GDC to get a lot of new information on what this tech is going to have, and also for developers to finally get their hands on the XDK. The next generation Xbox will also be fully backward compatible with the Xbox One and will also continue the 360 and original Xbox backwards compatibility. Imagine having all generations in one console. That to me is the most consumer-friendly gesture a company can make to their fan base. I applaud Microsoft if they are able to pull that off, because I love having everything be interconnected and I love bringing everything with me to my next console. I've put a lot of time and money into this generation, so yeah, it's great to have it come with me to the next generation. As for the PS5, the leak has said it was delayed because it was due for holiday 2019, and the leaker says they don't know the actual date it will be released, but says it could be in early 2020. Also, they don't know if the PS5 will have PS4 backwards compatibility, and that maybe the delay was for them to implement backwards compat on the new PS5. Now, we had Brad Sams on RDX a couple weeks ago, and he kind of hinted at the same that maybe this year delay or this year in 2019, Sony's going to be trying to implement backwards compatibility into their PS5 system so you can bring your PS4 games with you. I really hope that happens because, hey, a lot of us spend a lot of money on these games, and why not have the ability to just play them whenever we want on one console instead of having 15 consoles laid out in your freaking living room so you can play them. I hope Sony implements this and takes a little page out of Microsoft's book. But I believe these specs might be pretty on par with what will be shown to us. Now obviously things are subject to change in the next 2 years, but these specs do seem like a good jump from base consoles to next generation. We already knew for a long time that Microsoft would bring out 2 console SKUs for customers to buy from. One will fit the Xbox One S category of being a very entry-level console with a great price point for the mass market, while the other, which is the Anaconda, will take the place of the Xbox One X and be that high-end console that blows all the competition out of the water. Now, if you keep up with Dealer Gaming, who has talked about these next generation consoles, you will know he has predicted these 2 consoles and explained that one will be less powerful on the GPU side of the X, and the next one will be much more powerful at 12 plus teraflops of GPU power. So it's pretty awesome to see a leak come out talking about these specs and say the same thing Dealer and a lot of other people have been saying for a little while now. So while these might not be the exact specs of the consoles, they could be very close to what we see come next year. And that's not all the leak was talking about. There's also new studio acquisitions that the leak has hinted at, and I'll be making a separate video on that coming very soon to discuss which one would fit best in the Xbox family. So keep an eye out for that video. It should be coming very soon. But as for these console leaks, I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Do you believe there's some truth to these consoles? Do you think Xbox will be that much more powerful than what PS5 offers? Are you excited to see what happens with this new CPU power? Go down below and let's have a discussion about all this. I'm excited to see what everyone thinks. And please hit that like button and that subscribe button. It helps the channel out more than you know. Any support is appreciated. Also, go on Twitter and follow me at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games, posting cool articles about gaming, and just having a good time with everybody. So go on there and follow me. Let's interact. I love talking to gamers. That's all for now, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.